Okay, this is a 1999 Sebring Convertible. This could be about the same thing for like a lot of convertibles. So first off, we're going to talk about, I'm going to give you some thing on how to fix the squeaky top. And it's going to be something you're not expecting. But first, the main problem I had with the squeak was on this particular bow, on this joint. The top split right here in the corner. Now, you could tape them up, but you want to use combination of two different things. This actually held up really well. This is, I had to top up and down a bunch of times. It hasn't cracked or nothing. I used a product called shoe goo, and also this is Gorilla Tape for outdoors especially. So put the shoe goo on there, put the Gorilla Tape, and put the shoe goo over it, and just put a coat of paint over it, like flat black paint. Blend it in pretty good. You hardly notice it. Like real close you notice it, but it doesn't leak, it doesn't crack, it doesn't come off. So that's that. Now to get on with the squeaky top. Yeah, first I'm going to tell you something you think is kind of like, whatever, you know what I mean. You're gonna see that. I'm going to tell you a trick that nobody tells you on the internet. Okay, you can use some kind of products like this, PB Blaster, liquid wrench. I use the WD-40, which is a specialist type for, especially for corroded nuts. It's like a penetrant. Besides, this is usually water displacement 40. This one's actually more on par with that. The liquid wrench is really good. This stuff, I just want to mention this. I tried. None of this really worked for that one joint. I'll tell you what I did though. Eventually, this is really good stuff. I knew about this back in the early '80s. They were using it on motorcycle restorations. It works really slow. In other words, it does work as good as this, but if you leave it on there for months and you put on a little bit on here and there and you keep trying to bolt and stuff, just tapping it real light with a hammer and stuff, this stuff really works in better than any of these. But and all the car restoration people will tell you this is the stuff to really use. But it takes you, it might take you months. So I had it on there a few weeks, didn't work, and I'll tell you what I finally did. All right, let's put the top back, see if it squeaks now. Real slight squeak, not bad. Way better. So I'm gonna show you what I did. Okay, you remember where we did the patch? We did it on both sides. There's a main joint over here. Now this thing, it's actually this right here. This right here. And you can see, I don't know if you can see this. All right, you see that? That's a torque screw. That thing is in there really tight. You might be able to get it out. Not with an air hammer, but using the shake and break tool, which is in combination with an air chisel. It's a special tool that goes on the end of an air chisel. You might be able to break it loose. But what I did was I says, this thing is really thick aluminum. So you see this little hole? I put a 1/16 of an inch hole in there all the way back to the bulb. And also, you take this wand, you don't have to drill it all the way through. You put a hole part way through where the wand fits inside of it, and then you can spray it. That gets into where the actual joint is. Because I've seen on forums where somebody actually redid their top, and they finally found a problem, and it was really difficult to get this apart after they had the top off and everything. This would cost you a few bucks if you took it to a top shop to fix this. Just doing that, you're not going to, in my opinion, which I can't see how that would weaken this joint. If you're putting like a hole near something on the edge, this is right in the middle. It's a tiny hole. This is the hole is actually big enough to fit the wand through, but it's only a 1/16 of an inch where it goes down to the bolt. And if you touch the bolt with the drill, not a problem. You got to drill it in about that much, pretty good amount, because the bolt it's a pretty good distance to get in there. This is all thick aluminum, but then it gets on here. Now you heard it squeak a little bit. It's actually pretty much gone, but it was very much binding up a lot. This side especially more than that side, and that actually caused that piston to break, which that's replaced. That's got the bigger one in it. I'm going to replace the other side now, but that partly was why the piston broke. And I was actually even having a hard time getting the top back up. It would go, and it would go it was like shaking. The whole car would shake and stuff when it was breaking loose and stuff. That's how sticky it was. Now it's not bad. Now it's not bad at all. And it's not quite there yet, but at least now I can get the penetrant actually in where the bolt, you know, the actual joint is. So you can also do this because I don't have a tap on me right now, but I have put grease fittings on things where there weren't grease fittings on other applications on the motorcycle and stuff like that. This joint wouldn't, you know, you could actually probably put a tap of grease fitting into this and then use a grease gun and get it way in there and fill it up with grease, and that would really permanently fix it if you want to put a fitting on there. I actually tried a grease gun with the needle on it, the needle fitting, tried to inject grease in there, but it actually has gotten 100 times better. It's almost perfect. Let's hear what it sounds like. That's not bad. You see that one side picks up faster than this side. That's the new side. A little bit of squeak, but nothing like it was. It's actually on this side. You just got to inject a little more oil in there. But that's pretty good. That's pretty good. That's so I wouldn't be afraid to do that. You know, this kind of joint right here, you just be able to put spray penetrant on here. It should be able to get in here. It really can't get in this one that good. And you also want to put it the top up, like halfway up at different positions, and try spraying it in here, because it's going to get at that hinge through there. It's going to get at that hinge in different spots. So in other words, if it's, you know, it's turned and it's turned like that, it's turned like this, you want to get it at different spots. So I just did this last night a few times, and eventually it's going to get 100% perfect. But right now, it's better than it's been in years. And it's way, way better than it's been just recently. It was so bad that the top would come up, it would jerk, and then it would shake the whole car. It was going, it was creaking like crazy. And nobody I've seen on the internet has said to do this. It's such a simple thing. You could actually you really could tap a grease fitting in this. You really could, if you want to do that, because this doesn't collapse onto something else. It's like, it's off to the side, so that should work. Okay, so I just gave it another shot of this juice, and it actually even quieted down that little squeak right now. I just did this last night. Kind of thought of it. The coil probably should work eventually, because it works. The coil works better than this, but you got to give it time. Sometimes it takes months. If you're doing auto restoration, they got months, right? They just put some parts off to the side and keep dosing them down with coil, and it works. But this was simple and it worked well to me. So a lot cheaper, and probably the only place in the world you're gonna find this tip. You can do this with a lot of different applications. Sometimes you could drill a little hole into something that doesn't have grease, an area to get the grease in it. You're not going to affect the strength of the part. You know, it's like right there in the smack in the middle. It's a tiny hole, 1/16 of an inch, and just enough to inject some kind of lubricant or grease into something. It'll work fine.